Welcome aboard, passengers. Mega Sim here. How are you doing? I hope you are well. I was not expecting this. I'm sitting on my phone, watching a bit of TV, and pick up comes a tweet from Dovetail Games from Train Simulator. Train Simulator. And it's a news article. The Appalachian Gem. Yes, that's right. Clinchfield Railroad is the next route that we will be getting on Train Sim World 2. So we have a news article, as always, link is in the description below. We have one image from Tom Connell on the artwork that he so lovingly makes. I love his artwork, it's really good. Have you seen the stuff that he's done for the Forvet for the Gordon train down south? Oh, the slam door, it's amazing. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to get into the news article. So the Clinchfield in the annals of American railroading, the name is magic. The Clinchfield spun steel rails across, over, and through America's great Appalachian mountains, hauled 20 million tons of coal a year. Annually forwarded 6 million tons of manifest freight ranging from Florida citrus to steel and automobiles. Generated outstanding profits and operated with such verve and through such memorable and majestic scenery to be called the Rio Grande of the East. In short, the Clinchfield was railroading's Appalachian's gym. I'm really going to struggle with that name, aren't I? Because I'm thinking it's Appalachian, but I've checked, it's Appalachian. Chun. Shun is not. It doesn't exist. It's Chun. It was no simple task to build a railroad through the Appalachians. The oldest section of what became the Clinchfield was a 19-mile line laid down north from Johnson City, Tennessee, in the late 1880s by the diminutive but grandly named Charleston, Cincinnati, and Chicago. The 3C went no farther, and a successor, the Ohio River and Charleston, added but another 14 miles of track. But then came George L. Carter, a man with a steel will that proved more than a match for the unforgiving Appalachians. With his south and western, later become the Carolina, Clinchfield, and Ohio, Carter carved a superb railroad through the mountains at an average cost of $201,000 a mile. By 1909, the CCNO had reached Dante, rhymes with ant. Oh, Dant then. Okay. I thought it was Dante, but yes, must be Dante. Dant. Virginia, a tiny village tucked in the coal-rich country north of Sandy Ridge. Carter soon extended his railroad with what was called the Elkhorn Extension. 35 miles from Dant, through the breaks of the Big Sandy to Elkhorn City, Kentucky, thus tapping the coal-laden hills of northwestern Virginia and providing a connection with the great Chesapeake and Ohio. Dressed for the occasion in a long tailcoat and derby hat, George L. Carter drove home the main line's final spike 3 miles north of Dant in 1915. In the following decades, the railroad would add branch lines: the Fremont branch, the Nora Spur, the Greenbrier Hazy branch, and the McClure Spur, to tap ever more coal mines, tipples, and loaders. Eventually, between Elkhorn City and Dant, the railroad would serve more than 30 coal loading facilities, and in a final count, the railroad had hewn from the Appalachians more than 50 tunnels, totaling more than 10 miles in length. For the duration of its life, George Carter's railroad would legally be the CCNO, with the Clinchfield Railroad serving as its operating entity. From its northern terminus at Elkhorn City, Kentucky, where it connected with the Big Sandy subdivision of the Chesapeake and Ohio, the Clinchfield extended 276 route miles south to Spartanburg, South Carolina, where it connected with the Charleston and West Carolina subsidiary of the Atlantic Coastline, later Seaboard Coastline, as well as the Southern Railway. The Clinchfield has also had connections with the Norfolk and Western and Interstate Railroad, later a part of the Southern, at or near St. Paul, Virginia. Will we get 276 miles? Probably not. In 1924, the Atlantic Coastline in Louisville and Nashville, the latter of which was itself largely controlled by ACL, gained control of the Clinchfield. In the steam era, the Clinchfield was not surprisingly famed for its big steam, which culminated with the roster of 4664s, a group of which were largely copies of Union Pacific's famed Challengers. The Clinchfield began to dieselize, so a lot more diesels, in the late 1940s, primarily with the electromotive stylish grey and yellow clad F units and Jeeps. Or would you say Geeps? Not sure. In the second generation of the diesel era, if you know, leave a comment down below. The Clinchfield would call upon EMD and GE motive power, with the EMD SD40 becoming the latter-day workhorse of the railroad, wearing first grey and yellow, then later black and yellow liveries. So the Clinchfield was born an extraordinary coal hauler and a busy and vital bridge line for manifest freight traffic by providing a link between the Chesapeake in Ohio and its north and the Atlantic coastline in the south. Indeed, CRR regularly carded multiple priority manifest freights a day and called itself the Quick Service short line route between the Central West and the Southeast. The hottest train on the railroad was train number 97, the Florida Perishable, which via ACL, Clinchfield and C&O hurried fresh citrus to the Midwest. But the heart of the Clinchfield and its fame remained coal hauling. Despite its relatively limited size when measured by route miles, the Clinchfield was one of America's preeminent coal haulers. Although controlled by ACL, SCL, and L&M for decades, the Clinchfield maintained an independent identity into the 1980s, and that finally changed in December 1982 with the merger of its two owners, Seaboard Coastline and Louisville and Nashville, into Seaboard System. In January 1983, the Clinchfield was likewise folded into the Seaboard System as the new railroad's Clinchfield division. The Seaboard System in turn became a part of today's CSX system in 1986, and today the ex-Clinchfield remains an active rail line serving as CSX's Kingsport subdivision. The upcoming Train World 2 Clinchfield Railroad will recreate the legendary railroad as it existed in its final independent years of the 1970s and early 1980s. The upcoming route extends from the railroad's northern terminus in connection with the C&O at Elkhorn City, Kentucky, 35 mainline route miles to Dant, which served as the key point of CRR's coal operations. And the upcoming Train World route will include each of Clinchfield's captivating and extraordinarily challenging to operate North End coal branch lines, the rugged and tonnage-rich Fremont branch, steep Nora spur, remote and famed Greenbrier or Hazy branch, and the modern McClure spur. Together, these remarkable branch lines will add another 27 miles of trackage to the upcoming route. Okay, so we're getting 35 miles and an additional 27. Decent. That's 58 miles. As an engineer on the upcoming Train World 2 Clinchfield Railroad route, you will take the throttle of first and second generation Clinchfield electromotive diesels in the form of the classic F7 and potent SD40 to battle heavy tonnage and twisted grades as you make your way through the towering brakes of the Big Sandy. Glide across a 115-foot high pull point trestle and bore through the 7,854-foot long Sandy Ridge Tunnel, making the unrelenting tough climb to sprawling Moss Mine and preparation plant on the Fremont branch, and much more. Keep a close eye on Dovetail Live in the coming weeks as they will be presenting further information and advanced images of the upcoming Train World 2 Clinchfield Railroad debut. So we need to follow on Twitter and Facebook. And don't forget, we'll be posting all the updates and details on that as well. So there is some other bits. Coming soon to Train World 2 is the legendary and challenging Clinchfield Railroad route. Fulfilling the vision of the founder George L. Carter, Clinchfield EMD SD40 3016 and sisters have heavy coal tonnage on the move as the southbound train emerges from tunnel number 14. So it's actually describing the images that we have been showing. In Dant, Virginia, with the Clinchfield F7A 801 is pictured there, which looks really nice. So yeah, lots of really good images there, and I believe these images have been taken by Gary Dolzall. So yeah, some really good images there, and really looking forward to seeing what Dovetail Games do to this. So that's a long route, isn't it? It's 58 miles, which is quite a hefty, length of route with all the little spurs and and all those extra things. So yeah, what do you think of this route? Are you looking forward to the route? Are you looking forward to the SD40 or even the older train, the F7? Just let me know in the comments below. That would be really cool to see. You know what I'm like. I'm not into freight. I'm more of a passenger train person, but I am looking forward to seeing what Dovetail Games do with this. And yes, we will be trying it out definitely, and having a go on the Clinchfield Railroad. So that is now official. The next route that is coming out is Clinchfield Railroad. So I'm guessing from previous things is that we're probably going to be waiting about 3-4 weeks for that, around that time. Could be more, could be less, but hopefully we'll find out a lot more next week, especially with the roadmap on Tuesday. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos from MegaSim. Social media links are in the description below, and don't forget to ring that notification bell, ding 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 ding, so you can hear about all the upcoming routes and also just our everyday videos on Train Sim World 2. Have a great day. Have a great day, guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.